Guard helps a killer inmate escape prison.
2022. CCTV records prison supervisor Vicky enter through a back door.
New rush now.
Half a minute
Online.
later, she comes back out with a prisoner. Casey White, a 6'9" giant of a
Damn,
criminal,
6'9"?
serving 75 years for attempted murder. They quickly leave in the car as police scramble to make sense of the situation. Vicky,
What the
a
hell?
prison supervisor with a 2-decade-long career and perfect record, just disappeared with a dangerous criminal. Police assumed that she was forced or manipulated into helping him escape. But that's when new evidence came to light, showing that she might have planned the entire thing. As a nationwide manhunt began, police would realize the rabbit hole went deeper than anyone expected, leading them down a dark path, ending with Vicky found dead with a bullet in her
Dead?
head.
Oh my gosh.
Stay with us! Vicky!
So you helped the prisoner escape and he shot you in the head.
It's
That's
April
crazy.
29th,
Okay.
2022.
I'm invested.
Prison officer Vicky has just told her work colleagues that she's taking a prisoner to a psychological evaluation at a local courthouse. But something isn't
could just take
right,
prisoners like
as
that?
She's transporting the prisoner alone, despite rules mandating prisoners must be escorted by 2 officers at a time. But because of her senior position as a supervisor, nobody stops her.
That's
And it would
crazy.
be 6 hours before police realize that Vicky and the prisoner are never coming back.
Hey, they had 6 hours? That's a lot of time to get away.
To the man that Vicky escaped with. It was Casey White, a man serving 75 years in prison for domestic violence, home invasion, murder, and brutally attacking a man.
What a
with
great
an
guy.
axe. But there was one crime
Seems like
that
a great
stood out to
individual.
police even more. 7 years prior to this, Casey had abused and manipulated his then-girlfriend to a point where she tried to escape from Casey's vicious hands. After they successfully made it to her friend's house, Casey would break into the house with 2 guns and full
Oh, this dude
intent
crazy.
to murder them both. Luckily, they both escaped and survived his vicious attack. But that's when Casey fled the scene and began a series of carjackings across several states
Exia
until
said, "Mike
finally
would up
getting
good
into a
boy."
tense
Good boy is
standoff
crazy.
with multiple
What's up,
police
gang?
officers.
Casey, put the gun down. Let me see your hands,
Good
man.
boy is crazy.
Put the gun down, Casey. Put the gun down, bud. Casey, put the gun down. Just relax a little bit.
Kobe is that or so tell her to watch this.
Hey, Casey. Casey,
Yes, sir.
I will get you a sun drive if you'll be still. Just be calm. You don't ain't got no more gun on you, dude. No, you ain't got. You got to.
You lucky he ain't get shot
It's
there.
unusual, but the cops rolled a drink and a pack of cigarettes towards Casey,
What?
hoping this would calm him down and avoid a shootout. Miraculously,
A drink?
this actually worked, and the
Cigarettes?
cops were able to move in and
That
make
is
an
crazy.
arrest. His interrogation gave cops an even clearer view into just how insane this man was.
I've been trying to wait just to kill her ever since. I couldn't wait no longer. I had to do it tonight.
Do you regret what you did tonight?
I regret I didn't kill him.
Oh, this dude
Police
crazy.
now had a clear picture of who Vicky just helped escape prison.
This dude is
But
nuts.
how does Vicky fit into all of this? She works at a completely different prison, and there's no plans for Casey to ever see outside these walls again. Well, 1 year later, Casey confessed to a murder, resulting in him being moved to a different prison. This kicked off a series of events that would eventually result in Vicky's death. The murder that Casey confessed to was a 4-year-old cold case. It's unclear why Casey owned up to it now, but he was able to give specific details that nobody but the killer could have known. And after a short trial, he was quickly transported to a new prison, the same one where Vicky worked. Vicky is 56 and has been divorced for several years and put her heart.
We almost
and
had 1,000 likes,
soul
boys.
into
Keep
her
liking up.
job.
Keep liking up,
She
please.
was a model employee and popular among her colleagues.
Appreciate that.
Her
Appreciate
life
that.
had become boring and lonely. She wanted to change. And when Casey showed up, that's exactly what she got. They slowly began to talk more and develop.
She fell in love, huh?
They bonded over their shared last name and began to think that they were destined to be together. She started coming in on her days off and was noticeably happier. Despite having a great life on paper, Vicky had become enchanted by her feelings for Casey and was ready to throw it all away.
What a dumb
To
bitch.
be with a dangerous criminal. But how can this happen? Well,
What a
it
dumbass.
turns out It's not as rare as you might think. Some people are attracted to dangerous people. They know they could kill them at any moment, but feel special knowing that they choose not to. On top,
Why is that a thing? Why would like Ted Bundy and all these dudes were arrested? They literally had mad girls sending them notes and letters. Like, what's good with y'all?
of that, Vicky had started to feel trapped in her day-to-day life and as though she had nothing to live for. If she could make a break with Casey, it'd at least be exciting, even if it did mean throwing everything away. While Casey was serving at Lauderdale, Vicky allowed him unrestricted access to parts of jail that prisoners aren't normally allowed to see, including areas that aren't covered by security cameras. Many speculate this is where the pair were intimate with each other and formed their plan to escape. Even at this point, Vicky still had no idea that this would turn out to be the worst mistake of her entire life. 3 days
I think she
before
knew
their
that.
escape, they decided to do a test
I'm pretty
run
sure she knew
after
that.
Vicky told her colleagues that Casey had an appointment with a judge at the courthouse. Of course, there was no appointment, and they just sat in her patrol car for 9 minutes before returning. But now they know this works, and they're ready to make preparations for the real thing. 2 days before their escape, they're spotted on camera passing notes. It's thought that this was them discussing the final part of their escape plan, but by the time this footage was discovered, it was already too late. By April 29th, 2022, everything was in place, and they're ready to make their escape. As Vicky holds a senior post at the prison, she has certain powers that she's about to take advantage of.
That's crazy.
She arranges to send 12 inmates and 5 deputies to court on the day of the escape, leaving her as the last remaining officer in the prison with transport privileges.
That's how she did
then
it.
tells her bosses that Casey has to be taken for a mental health evaluation. Looking at the surveillance footage, it's clear something was up. Vicky has her firearm with her, something that is strictly forbidden inside the prison walls. She's also walking in front of Casey instead of behind him, showing she trusts him not to harm her. By helping Casey to escape, esteemed prison officer Vicky
That's
has
nuts,
thrown
bro.
everything she had away, and in
She literally
one
just lost her whole
pivotal
job and
moment
everything.
has become a criminal.
Vicky's always been a good girl I went to school with. It's got to be other people involved, and Vicky's just a scapegoat. You knew her, you loved her.
I feel like if she had anything to do with it, it was definitely love.
Vicky and Casey casually walk out of the prison.
She got
into a
that D
patrol
and she
car
was like, "Oh,
and
yeah,
drive
this is my
away
man."
to freedom. It took
I'm
6
helping him.
hours before anyone noticed they're missing. When the prison calls the courthouse to see what's taking so long, they're told that there is no appointment, and they come to the horrible realization that Casey has made a break for freedom. To evade the authorities, they quickly ditch the patrol car and flee the state, and the cops now have no clue where they are, where they're going, or how to find
Yeah, they had a
them.
6-hour head start. That's
Start
plenty of
of
time
a
to get out.
11-day manhunt that will span the nation. On day 1 of Vicky and Casey's escape, the cops try to find clues at Vicky's home, but she's nowhere to be seen. In fact, she doesn't even own the house anymore. As part of her plan,
sold that
she
shit?
sold her house for extremely
Oh,
cheap.
shit.
With the money, she bought vehicles, guns,
She was
and
3 steps
most
ahead.
suspiciously, men's clothing. This is the first indication the cops have that Vicky doesn't intend on coming back and is ready to start a new life with Casey. Things don't get any better for detectives when the patrol vehicle they used to escape is found abandoned at a local shopping mall. And even worse, there's no surveillance footage covering that area of the parking lot, so they don't even know
Wow.
which direction they went.
Hold on, that girl was so smart. She knew.
But on day 2 of the manhunt, a tip-off from her family blows this case wide open.
Oh, no.
As it's revealed Vicky has been renting a storage unit. Police are able to locate the storage unit and discover
Your own family. It be your own family. That's
she
crazy.
was renting it with a burner phone.
It be your own family
Despite their
snitching on
best
you.
effort to track this new number, the cops came up with nothing. But the existence of this new phone is the first solid evidence that cops have showing Vicky planned this all along and was actually a willing participant instead of a hostage.
Did you get the sense they were actually doing this together? He was not forcing her in any way.
Right. No, he was not forcing her. It was a mutual relationship.
You'd think that this would help the investigation, but things only get more insane and confusing from here on out. After realizing that they're essentially back to square one, the cops return to the shopping mall where they found the abandoned patrol car and decide to comb through all the surveillance footage from the days leading up to the event. That's when they spot Vicky a few days before the escape, parking a car in a nearby parking lot. And this isn't her usual car either. It's one she bought only a couple
Girl, you
days
ain't leave the
earlier,
state,
a
the country, the
2007 Ford
fucking
Edge that the cops
Earth.
quickly realized had to be their
Get
getaway
out.
vehicle. But
You still in the
they
area
got
is
back to the
crazy,
parking
gang.
lot, and the supposed getaway vehicle was still there. They realized that Vicky had left a decoy. Police had just lost their only clue, while
What?
giving Vicky and Casey a 5-day head start. But since they abandoned the Ford, the cops assumed that they have to have found another vehicle in the area, and lo and behold, they quickly picked up another lead. A homeowner nearby told them he sold his Ford F-150 pickup truck to a man who approached his house on the day Vicky and Casey went missing. That man is described as being around 6 feet 9 inches tall and looked exactly like the picture he was shown.
Now they know the truck.
Now all they have to do is find that Ford F-150 and bring this manhunt to an end. And thanks to another lead, they're closing in. On day 6, the owner of a car wash in Indiana noticed something strange. A Ford F-150 had been parked in one of the cleaning bays for an unusual amount of time, and he suspects this vehicle has been abandoned. Unfortunately, this is before a search was initiated for the truck, but something's still not right. This pickup truck is far too nice to have been dumped by anyone sane, and the owner quickly
Yeah, why would they
grew
dump it at a
suspicious.
fucking car
In order to
wash?
find out, he checks out the car wash surveillance footage, and what he finds will help the cops finally capture their 2 fugitives. That's Casey getting out of the pickup. And he's acting very strangely. He's waiting for Vicky, and she's in that car driving just out of shot. When Casey gets in the new vehicle, leaving their pickup and driving off, the owner knows they're up to no good and calls 911.
There's a truck been sitting in my bay since yesterday at 3 o'clock. I looked at my cameras and the guy's kind of suspicious. It's a Ford F-150 four-door truck. It's blue in color. It's got Tennessee license plates on it. And I've got him on camera.
The next day, cops arrive at the car wash and
What a
initiate
dummy.
a search of the truck.
Does it return to a Dodge?
Yep. Yeah, outside.
With nothing to go off of, the cops quickly leave the scene and the pickup is towed away. It takes 4 days for this vital lead to get back to detectives, but when it does,
Why would you leave it at a
everything
random ass
and
car
head
wash?
straight to Evansville on day 10 of the hunt. They're due
It's
to
been
arrive
10 days
at the
already.
car wash at 9 a.m., but fail to show up on time, frustrating the car wash owner so much that he takes matters into his own hands and calls the local press.
So then, 9:30, they're not here. So I said, I get on the phone to Fox News. I said, y'all want a story? Yeah, we like a story. I said, I got one. But I got a convict over at my car wash. I got him on camera. He said, you talking about the one in Kentucky? I said, no, I'm talking about the one in Alabama with the girl. I said, okay,
He?
we'll be right there.
I don't even know what the hell I said.
They got there 10 minutes before the marshal.
But he's a
U.S.
dumbass.
Marshals arrive during the media frenzy, and when they take a look at the surveillance footage, they realize they've found the car Vicky and Casey could still be
They both
driving.
dumbasses.
A Cadillac, and one that Vicky and Casey think is completely unknown to the cops.
Said he should have
It
taken it
seems
to a
like their
chop
days
shop.
on
Literally,
the
bro,
run are
like,
numbered. But even with the
anywhere
leads they
else.
have, they come up with nothing, and the cops are starting
Car
to
wash is
realize
crazy.
their fugitives could be anywhere in the country. But as it turns out,
They're still in the area.
closer to home than anyone thinks.
Are
Back
y'all
in
dumb?
Evansville, on day 11, a cop is on his way home from a long shift when he sees a familiar-looking vehicle parked outside of Motel 41. It looks like the same Cadillac from the car wash, and he hastily takes
Wow.
down the license plate. The problem is, the license plate of the Cadillac seen at the car wash was never seen.
He literally
so they
shoulda
have
got rid
no
of that
way of
fucking
knowing
truck.
if it's the same vehicle. But they do have the license plate of the recovered F-150, so grasping at straws, they decide to run that through their license plate reader, and when they do, they strike gold. Several traffic cameras have picked up the F-150, and following it in nearly every shot is a Cadillac. A Cadillac whose license plate perfectly matched the one at Motel 41
Yeah, slipping
right
up.
in front of them. Finally, by sheer luck, the cops have found their fugitives. All they have to do now is bring them in. First, deputy marshals find strategic positions around the motel. They're all in plain clothes and unmarked vehicles, hoping to be as covert as possible. But while the cops surround them, Vicky and Casey are in room 150 watching the TV in horror right as the discovery of the Ford F-150 hits the news.
Nah.
The plan was to bring Vicky and Casey in quietly, but before they get a chance to put their plan into action, Vicky walks out of the hotel room and throws a bag into the Cadillac. She's followed by Casey, and even though they're in disguise, there's no mistaking Casey White's massive frame. Casey gets behind the wheel, and the Cadillac takes off. The cops' plan has been completely foiled once again, but they've got a backup. They're going to follow them and try to box them in to avoid a confrontation, but before they get a chance, they realize they've been spotted. Casey turns onto US Highway 41 and hits the accelerator, taking the cops on a chase across traffic and through parking lots until he manages to make a break for freedom by driving straight through an open field. At around the same time, police dispatch receives a call from none other than Vicky herself, and it gives you an idea of how terrifying this chase really is.
Airbags are going on. Let's get out.
A police vehicle forces Casey to drive straight into a ditch, and this pursuit is brought to a sudden halt. But it's far from over, as cops know the pair are armed and could open fire at any point in some kind of Bonnie and Clyde-inspired shootout.
Crashed out. And he crashed out.
They about to get shot.
Where's he at? Please, check him out.
He just shot her?
That's my wife. That's a best woman in the world right there. Please, that's the best woman in the world. Vicky, I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry, baby. Anybody in this world don't deserve it. She don't. When she herself, it hit me. But y'all ain't gonna believe me. I'm gonna say I killed her. Just like y'all say I killed everybody else.
Finally, after 11 days, the manhunt has come to an end, and they've got Casey unharmed in handcuffs. But Vicky met a much more devastating end. Just 2 weeks ago, she was an upstanding member of society, an esteemed prison officer respected by those around her. Now, she's a fugitive, laying in a criminal's stolen car, conscious, but with devastating injuries.
She def did not do that.
David, she grabbed anything? No, she's good. She's still got it in her hand. Yes, she's got a gun in her hand. There's medic right here, medic. Get back! It's still in her hand? Yes, it's in her hand. Still breathing. I gotta break this sunroof here.
She still got a gun in her hand.
It might be easier in windshield. See if it'll open. Good idea. You got cover? Yeah. It's opening. It's opening. You got me? Yeah. I'm gonna go for the gun first. All right, pull me out. All right, I got it.
She's been shot in the head, and Casey claims she took her own life. When cops get a better look, they find her finger is still on the trigger of the gun. Later that day, Vicky was pronounced dead.
Oh, so she did it to herself.
Hospital. We'll never really know what the two had planned for
He
their
probably
life
did it.
together after their escape. Whether they wanted to go off the grid and settle down, or live the rest of their lives on the run. Well, it turns out, Casey never planned to keep Vicky around at all. He described her as a liability, and someone that didn't have the mind for this sort of thing. It's likely that she would have been ditched shortly after this point, or killed by Casey anyway, as he was found guilty of first-degree prison escape and sentenced to life behind bars. He'll be 98 years old before he gets a chance at parole. So this terror of a man will likely be off the streets until the day he dies.
Yep. He rotting in jail. That was crazy.